Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. Let's open the Grand Inquisitor, not yet open yet. Just been having a look at which one I will open of the two. And this is what it comes down to, that crease there, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the one I'll open because it's has an imperfection. That one seems to be in absolutely good order. What I might do actually before I open it is, let's have a look at the card back. As you know, in this series, I usually have the figure sort of like ready or whatever, but because this is sort of like a brand new opening, I'll just give you a little bit of a, let's just tease ourselves and have a look at the figure in the packaging. It does look amazing. I regret this guy didn't have a bigger part. You kind of thought he was killed off, but then he reappeared. Sorry, spoilers, but he was a brilliant actor and he had a really, amazing swagger on screen. Good presence. Second sister, you will, whatever. He had a great way of speaking as well. Look at that face. There was a lot of I was going to say a lot of controversy or a bit of controversy. There was controversy over the head of this guy. He didn't have the cone head that the Grand Inquisitor from the animation had. But I think that, it doesn't always have to be perfect. Although there were people who were deep faking or tweaking to make this guy's head look more cone like Rebels. But I don't know, for what it is, he looks amazing. If you just disregard Rebels for a minute, just look at how good this guy looks. I love their uniform as well. Even Reva, who I wasn't a fan of, their uniform is amazing. If you think about people like General Veers, who have, they're senior officers with armor. These guys have got armor and then some. Look at all the LEDs and lights inside and the fixtures. Life support systems, whatever, heating, maybe, who knows what that is. Not as much as Vader, who is wearing a life support system, but you know what I'm saying. It's just very technically advanced attire. I can't tell you who it was played by. Now I've mentioned that, I'll have to Google it and put it up on screen in post production. This is the back of the card back. Looking forward to opening her actually, and then this fella. This one, yeah, I'll be interested to see what that's like. HK-87 assassin droid. It's all relative because I did like the season 2 of Mandalorian with the Ahsoka episode in that. They made a series out of Ahsoka, as you know, but it was good in bits, but hit and miss. It ended averagely, in my opinion. I didn't dislike it. That's all I'll say. Right, moving on. Enough about that. Let's get this figure loose. Boom. Just very quickly, the peg holes on this one are much better. They plug on better. I know people have been commenting and saying I could trim my pegs, but I keep replying, and I'm not being rude to you people. You shouldn't have to, really. I'm used to a peg really plugging in for safe security, but this one is deep enough to just wedge on, and it's not going to topple. Some of them are so shallow, they're pathetic, but oh, lost the focus. Yeah, but this is good. I'm happy with that. You see, you can shake it, it stays on. Let's finish him off. Now, I really like this figure. It's nice. Before I put him on the spinner, I just want you to drink in this character and let's talk about Inquisitors. Originally, I didn't like Inquisitors. I thought it was too top heavy on Force users if you followed the rule of 2. But now I love the idea of Inquisitors. Now, we've seen them in live action, and if you really think about it politically, who are they? They are Force users. But it shouldn't affect the rule of 2 in that probably you'll find the Emperor and Vader will be recruiting people who are nowhere near as powerful as those two anyway. So if they were to revolt and take supremacy, which is all the Sith do, they're battling for supremacy. That's why the rule of 2 came in the first place, because otherwise it'd just be all out war between the dark side users for the ultimate. But look at this beautiful figure. Look at the way that fits on the back as well. They'll probably recruit people who are just subservient and they can push them around. They know that they're going to be battling each other, just like the regular people like Tarkin and all his minions, like the Nazis. We've talked about that before. They're all battling each other for favor with the Emperor, as they did for Hitler. They didn't like each other. And you see that in Kenobi. That was quite interesting. But it's almost like Vader and the Emperor just let him get on with it. They're using them. They're just puppets to carry out their bidding. But ultimately, they've got the measure of them. I mean, look, we're disregarding the power of Vader. The Emperor is just an ultimate power. And when you cut through his armies, when you cut through his private security, his royal guard, then you got to deal with him and himself. And he's powerful. The Emperor could kill you without even drawing a lightsaber. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are just instruments of the Empire. They're just like soldiers or whoever are used or fighting in the army, the auxiliary. I do have a shelf for people like Starkiller and Purge Troopers and stuff, and that's where I'm going to be putting my Inquisitors. They're all part of, well, the higher up faction, if you like, but of the Imperial arsenal, tools, in the great scheme of things. But if you do get someone too powerful or ambitious, then they wouldn't have them. People like Ventress are a good example of that. She was never going to be as powerful to take over, right? But she was the first example of an interesting prospect, and the Emperor liked it. It was like you saw for the first time 3, although arguably in The Empire Strikes Back, there's talk of 3, isn't there? Way before we even knew about the rule of 2 in the 80s. He could be a powerful ally. You know, that's how he talks about Luke. And then the Emperor's like, yes. And back then you thought, oh, okay, they're just trying to entice Luke into their side. But it's a bit more complicated than that when you learn about the rule of 2 from the prequels. It's almost like the Emperor's agreeing to it, but he sort of knows, fine, let him join us. But woe betide you if you try and take me. You know what I mean? Because I'll have you both. But anyway, that's a lot of waffle, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what your take is on Inquisitors, but I do like their look. They're interesting. But for a long time, I thought that the nice thing about the Empire was there was only 2. The Emperor and the Emperor's henchman, Vader, or his right-hand man. Because otherwise it's too crowded with Force users. And the whole point of getting rid of the Jedi and Force users was to control people who have power of the Force. Because otherwise you're going to be... It's a power struggle. But obviously these guys aren't a major threat. Reva was a threat, but that was for different purposes. And I wish to God I would have respected Reva a whole lot more. There she is over there. I would have respected her so much more and empathized with her if he and Vader had killed her and you thought, oh my God, wow, she was in turmoil and she was an ex-Padawan and gone down this weird path of revenge, but they let her live. And then she was like some kind of like good guy in the last episode. It was awful. It was just terrible, but they should have just left her for dead or killed her. It was awful. It was just, anyway, I'll shut up now because it's just, you know, more gripe against certain decisions that are made in the production of these episodes and whatever. But anyway, back to the figure. That cloak is amazing. The lightsaber's nice as well. The Reva figure came with like a 1 blade. There's like loads more accessories, and his is just complete, which keeps it nice and simple. No way did I want to open the the retro figure for this. I don't know who would, given the series didn't fully land with everybody, and you know you'd only get a few certain people who'd want to open a retro collection Inquisitor. They'd have to really love the series and love their vintage 80s figures to go with their existing collection maybe. But speaking of good figures, man, that is a good figure. That I like it. Let me give you a good look at him now, panning up. It's got that Dooku vibe, hasn't it? They've got to do the 5th brother now. They've done him, they've done her. 5th brother only exists in the retro collection, which is crazy. Yeah, you know, it's just a funny thing, the retro collection. It's a love-hate thing for me. Some people just hate it, some people love it and only want to do it. But me, I'm thinking, you know, it's taking away the spoils in the vintage collection. It's affecting what we get. eating into budgets, no doubt. And I'd sooner, if I was to choose one or the other, certainly for modern material like this, the Kenobi series, I'd sooner the fully articulated, fully detailed figures like the TVC, and leave retro for retro, you know what I mean? Return of the Jedi, the Phantom Menace is quite a nice idea. That has me on the hook a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Beautiful figure, very nice. Well done, Hasbro. Thank you for watching. This has been Only One Kenobi, only one. Out. And let's just let him spin.